Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of coreymicciolo. Bless his soul. A reading I'm very strongly called to, and not a reading, a case. And trial number, will this be trial day 4 coming up? I mentioned in the last reading I've seen bits of trial 2, bits of trial 3 made things clearer. I think going back to trial day 1 and following also through with the rest of trial day 2 and 3 is going to make things a lot clearer. But I have a couple of questions in the tarot I want to ask before I go further. And after I ask these questions, I also want to then look at the statements which would be in trial day 1 together. So I'm going to do this part before that, because just in case it comes up in that part, I might stop as we're listening to the statements to add in what I've already heard in trial day 2 and 3 from the parts that I've heard in that trial. Why this trial is pretty straightforward, but it can be complex because I already see a timeline issue, and this is not only from what people are saying. There's a timeline issue of this treadmill. There's a timeline issue of the 21st of March versus the 1st and 2nd of April. And that's only through actually listening to the trial. So that is a bit strange. And this is a jury trial, so the judge can't really say, what is the mixed up energy here, or what is the mixed up timeline, but there is a mix of a timeline, and that should become clearer. But regardless, I think in our last reading it was very clear who's had the hands in this. Now, who's the strongest for the prosecutor's side is the mother. Anything she says that could be questioned, or if she's not said a whole truth in something, regardless of her intentions, that could waver this case. So here, witness statements and the stand is very key for whatever proof they might have in general, for basically credibility. It's really important that whatever she states is in line with credibility of proof, okay? And like many cases, either this will get some more limelight, but at the moment it's wavering. It's one of those that I thought it would, but there's other cases that are still taking the main limelight that people are interested in. And I just feel this boy was let down, and to be honest, I'm not sure how it works in America, but it would not be the state that was prosecuting, would be myself as the mother. But then again, I also feel there's something here. So I just want to ask a couple of questions before we go back into it. I feel this case was not a case. So Corey was pronounced dead. And I've not heard it in the trials, but this is a side note so that we can see when it comes up. It must come up somewhere that the father actually left to go after Corey was pronounced dead at the hospital. He left the hospital. He didn't sort of stick around to maybe in grief. He left to Tennessee. So that to me is a question. Regardless, for me, I mean, I just think whether it's the treadmill day as the final straw that broke the camel's back, or whether it's basically it's abuse, and something needs to break that final, the straw on the camel's back, basically. So whether the treadmill was on the 21st or 2nd, and I have the timeline I actually took down from the trial, where it was that the video was on the 1st, but when I first joined it, it was saying the 21st of March. And so the 21st of March, obviously 10 days later, when everyone's saying Corey's been fine, a few bruises, then says, well, really, was this the real reason Corey passed away at the hands of the father? disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. So you can see how this wavers. And I was getting to something else actually. There's something that's not also clear, is that obviously he was taken to the pediatrician and a couple of medical centers by his mother, but then he was also, when she asked for emergency custody and that was turned down, there was advice on the court documents for her to take him to, within 7 days, both partners to take him for assessment, which would be the abuse specialist. Now, in one statement or timeline, she did that on the same day of taking him to the pediatrician and the other medical centers. So she didn't finish till about 1 in the morning. And on another timeline, it was actually done on the 1st of April, where she didn't finish till really, really late. And then when she brought him on the 2nd of April is where they met outside the gym. So there's a fluctuation of timelines and events that are not clear cut, and this is coming from me listening to those bits of the trials. I'm not listening to hearsay. If you subscribe to the channel, thank you for your support and you will get the priority responses. If you're just passing by on the channel, thank you for your support. If you like content, consider subscribing, liking. Those videos that just get any emoji or comments, basically, not necessarily emoji, really help it get in the algorithm. I've noticed content that get comments helps it get in the algorithm. So even if you place an emoji or anything, it's really just going to help, and I don't think it costs anything, given you've just watched something maybe for free that could be something of interest for you. Yes, so one of the things that's going is that she was also told at one of the clinic visits that her son had possibility of sepsis, so to leave him in the clinic or to be transported to another clinic, and she took him because the father had already called CPS previously on her, and she was frightened to lose custody of Corey totally. So again, a bit of mix. So why is that important to know? Why is it really important for the timeline during the trial and really the events of the clinics to be clear? Is because if that was the day before his passing, then there's some question there. If the treadmill incident remains as the main focus, that was 10 days prior, which I think this is beyond that. The whole thing you see, we'll go into the statements and see how his father is reacting to those statements. I showed the treadmill. We saw some of his reaction towards that. Hopefully at the beginning of this video, I haven't forgotten to add it, where I add the picture of how he looks at the mother. So he seems to still have some feelings of hurt there, even though apparently he's really said the mother is, you know, uneducated and etc. To Corey, I believe. So, and he was apparently planning a date on one of the nights. So it's not necessarily that he wanted to get back to her, but I'm not sure about that. There's something there. He still has feelings of her, and I wonder if that's what he was taking out on Corey. Very sadistic energy. Another person who's kind of sadistic, if you're not sure what I mean, is, do you know Jodie Frank? She's sadistic. Another one I would say is, you know, Jada Pinkett Smith. She's sadistic in the way she gets, I feel like she gets pleasure out of seeing Will humiliated, and being humiliated really does hurt, doesn't it? So that's pain inflicted. Similar with him, I can't believe you're on a trial and you're not even crying when your son is on video. Things are being brought up. So let's just ask a couple of questions. The last reading was very clear. I want to see, I feel like, like I said, the event happened, Corey's passing occurred, and this will become clear as I watch the trial and bring more information forward. And I'm digging into the information, but I don't want to read the articles that I might get up until I've done this part of the readings, because I don't want to have the information, if that makes sense. So okay. So this card didn't necessarily fall out, but it was sticking out and I took it. Okay. Okay, so here I've got, he's definitely been at the forefront of the unaliving, and I've got it confirmed here. I asked it here and I got the card that I wanted. It was actually the card that was sticking out. I couldn't see it, so I just took it. It's the card. Here, the mother, there's something telling me here that the mother did not make probably the right decision out of fear in terms of taking him home. So once we know the whole sepsis, the day of that, and taking him home, but I think there's a mixed thing of, like, she was advised to take him to another clinic. She was advised not to take him home, but she took him. That is still not clear, that timeline, and that will become clearer during the trial, so I'll look into that. But there's a decision here that could have impacted his state of health, all right? But then I asked very clearly who is, and I know it psychically, I know it common sense wise, and I'm mixing facts here with common sense. I have worked beyond energy healing, psychic, intuitive stuff. I have worked within the criminal justice system. I've worked within other top roles as well. So I haven't been an attorney. I'm not saying that just before anyone wants to go down that route. But I'm not saying anything in vain, basically. And then I asked to clarify, can I know directly who was at the forefront of this? And it's very clear. We can see it's the father here. Someone quite egotistic. We've got Corey on defense, bad judgments, abuse of power. For me, this is what's saying. Very much in line with, that's how I'm interpreting it, maybe because that's how I was getting it psychically. Now, what I do want to ask, putting these cards back, is because I strongly feel that this case was never a case when Corey was on when Corey passed away. So how did it come back at the forefront? A King of Cups is significant in this. I mentioned about sadistic energy. I see this here. I see a patience of needing to move away from something patiently. I think, you know, here there's definitely something about, there was a patience in terms of hoping. Again, I see this a mother and child, but there was an obstacle here, and we had someone who was not acting as a father, you know. And also we have the magician who thinks, you know, they have, and they do have everything. When I see this together, I feel it's very sadistic in this case. We've got ego coming up again. All right. Okay, so we do have the story here where, you know, because I saw the Empress when I saw the chariot, really trying to get Corey away, going for the medical checkup, seeing if we can walk away from taking him away, communication that she had put out, which was probably the emergency custody, communication that would have been on that day, maybe text messages between the father and mother. The cards are getting heavy, the energy is getting heavy. Yeah, a bit of lack of financial abundance. I remember a financial strain maybe she had. Again, this is connecting me to go and see the doctor. Health was a concern of Corey. What did I want to say? By the way, last time when I got the Six of Pentacles here, I was thinking of maybe it's very evident that the father came into the life late on the last thing. How he got custody by coming into his life late, I presume there was a concern with the mother. With them taking a parental, test late in his life might mean that Christopher didn't know he was the father. No one knew. So maybe she didn't know who the parental father figure was. They were introduced when he was about 5, just under a year of when he left. Well, obviously, Chris got full custody, and that's why he was living with Chris. How can that be? I don't know. There must have been a reason for concern of that year, because he was, what I get is, you know, I did question where they were living and stuff. Let's continue here. Yep, so there I've got it again. So maybe it was to claim sort of benefits, help with some benefits, and getting that parental DNA test done. Yep, 10 of Cups. I feel like also the mother might have been quite vulnerable. I don't think she was in the best mind when she was younger. 2 of Swords in reverse. That also lines up with what I've just said. Probably not making the right decisions in general in her life. Probably, you know, but here we're talking about difficult choice. Stuck between a hard rock, a rock and a hard place. A fear of commitment here. Patience was needed. We get the Temperance card again. The Star card, the Healing card. There was a wish fulfillment that I don't think was granted. Maybe around moving forward, but around initially before all this happened to Corey, like having a happy home, happy family. Again, maybe she walked away, maybe because of the way he was. That's not come up yet, but there's something here because he also, the way he looks to her, which I wonder if that's what he takes out on Corey. Either Corey reminds him of a younger version of himself that he didn't necessarily like and he was bullied, or he reminds him of the mother, and he still has that hurt and feelings towards the mother, and maybe a feeling at the time of all this that he was out of control when the mother left, or whatever happened between them. That will probably come in, it might not. Here there was a waiting of the answer of the custody, we get it, for Corey. It wasn't what was the wanted outcome, and Corey had to return back to his father, leaving the mother without him. This is the emergency custody. She seen the lovers in reverse. The choice that she was trying to make didn't work out for her. You know, the steps that she was trying to make didn't quite work out for her. The lovers in reverse as well. They're not necessarily getting along with the communication. 9 of Pentacles. Health could have been a concern. Corey's not around, you know, she's not won the custody, so she's here, she's feeling a pain of the past, she's feeling again, Corey's not, you know, that emergency custody was to save him, but also have him back more in her life as well, and it's kind of like looking on the past as well. I think it triggered something within her. Ego was a battle in this, and then we've got the Hermit. So I don't know why I'm getting this Hermit card. Is someone within the forensic lab sort of reevaluating his health or his case. When I see it here, I feel like I'm getting this around maybe this case was audited. Do you know, in hospitals, like sometimes they pull out, or if you're working in organizations, I've been in organizations where we have to pull out documents or legal paperwork or cases, even finances, for auditors that come and check, and it could be doctor's files, whatever it is. Yes, I feel I'm getting it here. So this person, I think maybe it went through an audit or something, and then a wheel of fortune, a wheel turned in the favor of justice for Corey, hopefully, of what we're seeing right now. I'm getting pulled to see this, which I've never been carried to pull, that this is similar to the Chariot card, of trying to, of moving forward in terms of the truth around what happened, which here we see about the health, but really, so I think this person played a significant role. Yeah, as someone who played a significant role, who probably wore their heart on the sleeve, and I think was an audit. Somehow the case was reopened based on medical terms, or a medical reevaluation, or, you know, like maybe, like I said, the audit take the files and say, give me 5 files from 2021, let's say, and his gets in by the universe. And we get that Wheel of Fortune that's opened the case again. Look, here we've got the 4 of Swords. Opening the case of, oh, look, I think this is what's happened. Absolutely. And, you know, this is so-and-so thinking he's won at all costs, because he didn't get the custody, and obviously what happened with Corey. But in comes this wise hermit that's like, I need to look at certain files, or I need to do, maybe he was doing an audit on his, this is someone that's going to be very senior, okay, maybe on autopsies done by forensics in a hospital, and he has reopened the case around the passing of Corey. God bless his heart. So this is the story of Corey, and again we got the 4 of Swords. Sorry, this is not the 4 of Swords. This is the, what's this? Is this the Ten of Swords? Which would be the betrayal, and the Four of Swords and the Death card. Yeah, this is the Ten of Swords, I believe. So this is the betrayal. So a betrayal happened, and I see this person with the swords. So again, lining up with our story, the Four of Swords and the Death. Okay, show me. Yep, exactly. I think what I've said is that it would have been somebody in a higher authoritative power is probably reopened the case. How they've done that after it's all sealed, or you know, it wasn't looked into. I think maybe from the mother seeing things on social media, coming across them on the mother. I think ultimately is from the universe. Again, King of Swords could be someone who's auditing, analyzing, but here there's also something about this person that, but I'm getting that this is the mother that was feeling very hopeless and helpless, and this person who reopened the case by whatever they've done, and I feel it's medical. Maybe they were looking into the doctors or reopening the forensics. This is someone quite senior, and what he's done has really unchained the mother of her feeling hopeless and helpless. So that's what I'm getting here. This is what I'm getting in the tarot. So the next portion, everyone, is going to be, again, like in the first one, I didn't really need to ask, but here it's very clear. There is something critical upon maybe a decision a mother made, maybe, you know, to transport him out of the clinic. It might have been not necessarily this cause of death, but maybe that could have also changed the Wheel of Fortune for Corey in some kind of way, but she's definitely not at the hands of this, but that will be clearer and we'll discuss it in the trial. So now what I'm going to do in this video, we're going to watch the statements together and see what we pick up on, and then we can exchange and share those. As always, I value you, my subscribers, and I hope you enjoy what we're going to go into next and just really what was laid out. Take care.